Everyone loves an underdog story from David and Goliath to Rocky Balboa. We're drawn to outsiders rising to the challenge. The presidency has seen its fair share of these outsiders too. Let's take a closer look. During his presidential campaign against Southern Democrat John C. Breckinridge, Abraham Lincoln cast himself as a political outsider, closely aligned with everyday Americans. As a child, young Abraham chopped wood, farmed, and built fences for his family. But this aspect of his life didn't become central to his campaign messaging until the National Republican Convention of 1860. At the convention, Lincoln's advisor, Richard Oglesby, fired up the crowd by proclaiming him the rail splitter candidate during his speech of support. The term rail splitter refers to someone who chops logs into smaller pieces for fencing. As Oglesby spoke, Lincoln's cousin, John Hanks, who had worked with him on the family farm, stepped onto the convention floor holding a banner that read, "Abraham Lincoln, the rail candidate for president in 1860. The banner was mounted between two rails from a batch of 3,000 made in 1830 by Hanks and Lincoln. The excitement in the room was infectious as the crowd raptured in applause, and this excitement translated to voters throughout the rest of his campaign, ultimately leading to his election. Another outsider, James A. Garfield, famously never even wanted to be president. Before the Republican Convention of 1880, the party's future was uncertain. The frontrunner, former President Ulysses S. Grant, wasn't broadly accepted as a nominee due to scandals during his previous term. Grant, however, gave a rousing speech and chants of his name echoed throughout the chamber. After his speech, Garfield took the stage to pledge his support for John Sherman. The crowd looked on in silence as Garfield spoke. "When your enthusiasm has passed, when the emotions of this hour have subsided, we shall find below the storm and passion that calm level of public opinion from which the thoughts of a mighty people are to be measured, and by which their final action will be determined." These words reminded the crowd that whoever was chosen as a nominee should represent the people. At one point during the speech, he asked the crowd a rhetorical question, "What do we want?" Then out of nowhere, someone shouted, "We want Garfield!" Garfield tried to move past this seemingly absurd idea and ended his speech by nominating Sherman, but it was too late. The people loved him, and he eventually became the 20th President of the United States. One thing's for sure, when it comes to running for office, sometimes it's not just about who you know, it can also be about who you don't. What do you think? Does Washington need more outsiders?